what is labor and childbirth like? It's not really anything that anyone could really prepare you for. It's something that you have to just go through to know. But there are some things that could help along the way, and so much of it is individual. So every woman is going to have a totally different childbirth, and even the same woman could have different birthing experiences between the different children that she has. There are so many factors that influence what a birth is like, and some of it's beyond what we could even predict or comprehend. It could be the woman's anatomy, the environment, the day that it happened, the baby that's in there, physical and psychological factors, the team working for her, all those different things. I will tell you that I went into my childbirth thinking that I wanted to do as natural a birth as possible, meaning vaginally and unmedicated. But my mother is a midwife, a hospital midwife, and fairly early in my pregnancy, we had the conversation that eventually convinced me that a hospital birth was the direction I wanted to go, even though originally I was thinking I wanted to do a home birth. And that's completely an individual decision. I think a home birth would be amazing, but it comes with certain risks. And the first birth is kind of an unusual one for most people, or a more challenging one usually for the woman. So I decided to go with that choice of the hospital, and to try to still do it as my own way as possible. So I also went in aware that you can't be really rigid about how it all is going to go down. It's the type of thing where you kind of have to practice surrendering. You could have some desires, some expectations, some kinds of things that you're going to try to do, but you also just have to go in to the moment and just be present and respond accordingly. So what I found, what happened for me, and I'll just tell you my story, but there are so many amazing stories, and I highly recommend the book by Ina May Gaskin. I think it's called, I forget, it's called Guide to Childbirth or something like that. And there are 100 birth stories in the front part of the book, and then a whole bunch of very important, helpful information that she gives in the latter part of the book. So that helped me, because I saw in reading all those stories that really there are such different experiences for different people. So for me, I ended up not having my water did not break. I ended up having about 17 hours of unmedicated laboring without a ton of progress, or very slow progress, and it was very painful. I have been told that I have a high pain threshold. This was very painful. I won't lie, but this is different for everyone. Some people describe it more as intense. It was intense, and it was painful for me as well. I did use the jacuzzi tub, and I was in there for hours, and that was helpful, being in water. I think a lot of women agree on that. And after a while, I started to sort of lose. It all happened from 6 p.m. through the night into the next night, and I was totally sleep deprived, obviously, and very tired, besides being drained from the pain. And at some point I just decided, after they told me that I hadn't made a ton of progress in my dilation, I was at maybe 7 or 8 centimeters when I decided I need the epidural. And I just decided, I need to rest and regain my composure. And I got the epidural, and it was so helpful. So, if I had had a faster labor, then I would have enjoyed not getting the epidural and just going straight through if it had been like 8 hours or something. But this moment of reprieve was so great. I was just in a great mood. I happened to get some visitors during that time when I got the epidural, and I was just like, you know, had a sense of humor. I was feeling good. And I rested for a little while. And then when it came time to push, they let my amazing midwife let the epidural sort of wear off enough that I could feel what was going on. And I did start feeling the pain again, and it was very, very intense. And the actual pushing was a little under 2 hours. It was one of the most, there's no way to describe it. It was one of the most intense and definitely like profound experiences of my life. Probably the most painful, but most rewarding. And I had minimal tearing because my midwife was that good. I think a lot of it had to do with her and her timing, and she used olive oil, and she was just awesome. We used resistance against each other to get this show on the road. So she was like she and my mother and my husband at times were holding my legs and resisting me as I was pushing back on them. My midwife was holding my hands and pulling as I was pulling. It was really helpful to be able to do those things. I don't know how I would have gotten the grip and the traction that I needed without that. So that was childbirth. I'm sure there's a lot more. Oh, well, I will just say that once the head got through, she just slipped right out. It was amazing. And that moment, I mean, I'm gonna get choked up just like thinking about it and talking about it. That moment when your child comes out into the world is just pure magic. I mean, it's just unbelievable. And the moment that they just put her right onto your chest, unbelievable. And it takes your breath away. So I think that's all I can really say at this moment. I'm sure there's plenty that I'll think, oh, I wish I had said that. But I will do another video if that comes up. All right. Just a quick note on hospital versus home birth. I've heard such amazing stories about home birth, and you know, if I was having more children, I would potentially consider it. I have patients and friends who have done home birth. There are some really great midwives out there, and places. You know, there are also birth centers, which are nice, like kind of in between home birth and hospital. Birth centers are adjacent to hospitals, so there's always that, there's, you know, that care right nearby if needed. I will say though that I am very relieved that I was at the hospital, because my baby girl was doing really, really well through the entire labor, which amounted to about 27 hours. And her heart rate was great. She was looking really healthy. We were very happy and encouraged that she was doing so well. The moment that she came out, however, she gulped. They think that she took in some amniotic fluid into her lungs. So what happened was, in a matter of seconds, she was on my chest, not the right color, kind of gray. I'd seen that in a lot of birthing videos. I thought, okay, she's gonna be fine, she'll be right back. Well, within a matter of seconds, there was a team of NICU doctors in the room, and she was taken away from me. Oh God, don't get crying here. It's fine. And they took care of her because she needed that care. And she needed to stay a night in the NICU. We saw her at 1 a.m. She was born at 9:22 p.m. And then the next day, she was so healthy and good otherwise. She was able to be released to us in our room the very next morning, thank God. But I just feel really thankful that this team was right there. because I don't know what would have happened otherwise. And she did need that care, not just for a few minutes, but through the night, to get her lungs okay, because I think whatever, the fluid that went into her lungs was overwhelming to her system. So thank God I was in the hospital for this labor and delivery. Just wanted to say, and I also wanted to say, I'm sure it depends on the medical team and the hospital facility where you are, but I was at Capitol Health, and they really respected all of my wishes. I did create a visual birth plan, like just with some bullets about what I would like, and they completely were devoted to me as their patient and respected every last wish I had. So I felt respected, I felt heard, and I felt like they were in my corner as much as the babies, and that was pretty good because I was worried about that, and it went well.